They haven't even taken office yet, and President Musk and Vice President Trump are already trying to rewrite history. My name's Will, and I'm your favorite rural campaign and elections expert. Let's talk about it. First, I want to say thank you to everybody that got that last video at almost 1 million views. It's not too late. We may still get it there. But now I want to speak directly to all you farmers and ranchers that came into my comments and tried to make the argument that there was no agreement in place and it was the Democrats that got this bill tanked because they wanted so much pork in the bill. Well, that dog won't hunt, and I'm going to tell you why. The bottom line is there was an agreement between Democrats and Republicans, and it's the agreement that farmers and ranchers wanted. Number one, it put in over $10 billion in immediate farm relief for farmers and ranchers. And number two, it locked in an additional $20 billion a year in the long-term farm bill. So we couldn't get the best bill for farmers and ranchers, so both parties came back with a second bill. And they agreed again, the Democrats and the Republicans, to an expenditure bill that would keep the government open until March, and it would guarantee $10 billion for farmers and ranchers without the ethanol changes that would have given corn growers billions of extra dollars spread out over years, and without the permanent $20 billion per year built into the farm bill. Now, let me just say to you farmers and ranchers that are coming into my comments trying to argue that Elon Musk didn't tank this bill and that the reason it got tanked is because there was too much pork, you can say that all you want, but feelings are not facts. And the facts tell a very different story. Once the agreement was reached, Elon Musk threw a hissy fit, and he sent out this tweet. Any member of the House or Senate who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years. Now, I don't have a PhD in constitutional republics, but I am smart enough to know that legislation is supposed to be passed by people who are elected for public office. You know, all that trouble we go through several times a year to get in our pickup trucks, drive down to our local voting precinct, check the box, turn it in, and then come home and bitch about the decisions that we made? Last time I checked, Elon Musk wasn't on the ballot anywhere. All he did, as a billionaire I might add, is dump hundreds of millions of dollars into the election process to get it to turn out the way he wanted to. But hey, it wasn't good enough for Elon to stop at the bitching stage. He went ahead and moved on to the disinformation stage as well. He took his favorite toy, X, out for a ride and let the disinformation river start flowing. The first lie that Elon Musk told and spread out over X is that those SOBs in the House tried to give themselves a 40% raise. This is the one I heard the most at my local coffee shop and the one I read the most in my comments. Well, I guess Musk lives by the old Republican adage that if you're going to tell a lie, you might as well make it a whopper. The truth is, the Republicans tried to give themselves a 3.8% raise. And of course, the Democrats were happy to jump right in there with them. Now, don't get me wrong. You can make the argument that the folks that are representing us in Washington, D.C. right now don't even deserve a 3.8% raise. But why lie about the amount? I'll tell you why. Because 3.8% doesn't piss people off as much as 40% does. And that was the whole purpose of the disinformation that Musk was putting out. The second lie that Musk told is that, hey, shutdowns don't cost anything. He made the argument that the government will keep on running just like it is, and in the end, it won't cost the American people anything. This, my friends, especially you farmers and ranchers, is another big lie. First of all, only a multi-billionaire would make the argument that millions of American workers going without pay but having to work anyway isn't a big deal or isn't a cost. But I guess the space cadet and the man who takes a dump on a golden toilet every day doesn't think that working without pay really hurts you in the long run. Now, I come from a long line of military veterans, and I'm sure many of you do too. And guess who doesn't get paid in the event that the government shuts down, even though they've got to stand that wall to protect me, my children, and my grandchildren every day? You guessed it, the military. In addition to that, while Social Security checks would continue to go out, all new applicants would have to wait. That's right. If you're just now filing for Social Security and you've got that in your short-term and long-term financial plan, you just have to wait for Elon Musk to get happy with a new plan before you could begin getting your check. almost all of the nation's national parks would close down. Almost all of the sites in Washington, D.C. and other federally funded sites around the country would shut down as well. And in addition to that, Medicare and Medicaid payments would be slowed because processing would slow as well. So contrary to what the space cadet thinks, President Musk is wrong when he says that there's no cost. The next lie that came from President-elect Musk is that there was $3 billion written into the bill to help build a football stadium in Washington, D.C. Man, another whopper. The only thing this bill did was transition ownership of the project of building a new stadium from one government entity to another. There were no funds allocated in this bill to build a new football stadium anywhere, let alone in the nation's capital. The next lie that he tossed out there is that there was money in this bill to fund bioweapons labs. Again, not true. The only thing this bill did was guarantee that we would have the money we needed to fight future pandemics like the one that happened with C-19. But hey, he was able to check off all the boxes. You can scare them with inappropriate accusations about wasted money for football stadiums. You can talk about the fact that the shutdown won't really have an impact on anybody. And while you're at it, why not scare everybody into thinking that billions of dollars are going to be spent on waging war against the American people? And if you do me the honor of giving me just another minute or two, I'd like to make the point that just the cost of shutting down the government the last time, just the administrative cost alone was $3 billion. Is that really how you want to start out an agency that's designed to find cost savings in federal government by shutting it down and having to reopen it and spending billions of dollars, unneeded dollars in the process? So now we have a third bill on the table and the Republicans just passed it in the House of Representatives. And I haven't even had time to see how badly they've screwed the American farmer and rancher in this bill. But you can count on the fact that once I do, there'll be a video out there on it. Now this bill goes to the Senate, and hopefully this bill will pass tonight before the government shuts down. Farmers and ranchers, do me a favor. Remember the requirement of the gentleman farmer. Educate yourself with the facts, but make sure you educate yourself with the real facts. That's the news from the Back 40. I'm Will, and I hope you have a great evening.